you guys get done with scrimmage?
About 128 plays total, so pretty evenly split, and then some special teams.
Hey, what have you seen from Isaiah Neyor so far this camp? How's he going out there?
Isaiah's done a good job. Big, powerful target, can run all the routes. Will be a featured part of our offense.
Impressions from the scrimmage? How'd you think it went?
I thought it was a lot cleaner than normally you see a first scrimmage in terms of like a ton of pre-snap penalties and things. There was a couple with maybe the younger guys, but with the older guys, I thought it was pretty clean. We had a couple personal fouls on offense that hurt us. So learning to control our emotions or, control our decision-making is probably something, versus a defense like ours. You get a drive going, you certainly can't go back 15 yards. But I thought it was good spirited work. I always look at scrimmage one like it's like a rough draft of a paper. It's number one. We'll look at it. We'll revise it. But I thought there was a lot of good work there.
Was it impactful? Did anybody have enough on either side of the ball?
I wouldn't say so. Again, it was very, very regimented, more regimented than I normally am. So it was like 8 plays in a row. So if the defense went 3 and out, the offense stayed out there. If we got down to the offense drove the ball one time down to the 10-yard line, I blew it dead and said, all right, next group up. So really trying to be disciplined about staying 8 and 8 and 8. So I thought it was good physical work back and forth.
Corcoran, was he able to go, and how important is he in that puzzle for that offensive line with what's happened with Teddy's injuries last week?
He was cleared to practice today, so he practiced, but I didn't scrimmage him. Full disclosure. I just was like, he hasn't done anything most of the week. Why put him out there today? So we'll start him up again on Monday. So he should be good to go, and I think he's really, really important piece. He's a guy who started a lot of football. You go back a couple of years, he's blocking those great DNs from Michigan and blocking them well in pass pro. So we were excited about him last year, and he's worked hard to get back. So yeah, he'll be an important piece along with Gunnar and Gottula and Grant Seagren and all the other guys that we have repping over there.
And you had to obviously get Gunnar going, right? Like he's probably gotten more and more reps than he maybe even might have expected. Have you seen him practice in the Grant game?
Gunnar's done a good job. Gunnar's excellent in the run game. It's just the confidence in the pass rush game, and I say confidence in the pass rush game, not ability. I had them pull his measurements. He's 6'6", 300 plus with 33-inch arms and 81 wingspan. I mean, those are the things you're looking for. If that guy was in the portal, we'd all be scrambling for him. So he's played against good players for a year now, year and a half really. So it's time for him to go. And I've seen good. I'm anxious to see this tape, because it's hard to see what the left tackle's doing in the middle of practice. But I'm anxious to see what he did today. And then Grant's a good player. I've talked about him, early on. I think he's big. He's got really long arms. He's athletic. He's really, really smart. He's in the rake school, so both those guys I think give us a lot of depth behind Turner.
If Garrett mentioned yesterday, he just admires Satterfield's creativity with various pieces and versatility of players. Do you feel like you have enough weapons now that creativity can have full bloom?
We're trending that way. When I say that, part of the young players. A lot of the mistakes that happened out there today were with young players. Coach Paterno used to always say, you lose a game for every true freshman you started. Well, we're playing a lot of true freshmen. So, and I say that in terms of the creativity part because, if they know the base offense and they don't have the ability yet to absorb information on it, like, hey, on the red zone on Wednesday, we're going to put this play in for you. Like Billy Kemp, you could put it in Saturday morning. Billy could run it on. He played a lot of football. Some of these guys, their eyes are a little bit different. So, the weapons are there. They just, they're just in the maturing process, mentally as much as physically. But we have enough good players to win.
How would you characterize quarterback play today?
There was a couple turnovers in areas that I would not like to see them, but I thought other than that, the ball was moved, the passes were thrown and caught. I was happy with it. It's not the level it's going to be. I think the biggest thing I'm looking for from the quarterbacks is just honestly the difference is who between the great ones and the average ones, in my opinion, just my humble opinion, is what things look like when things are going wrong. Like who they are when things are going wrong. And if you're a true freshman quarterback, if you're Danny or Dylan or you haven't had a lot of things go wrong yet. And so trying to I'm sorry, I guess I'm tired. Trying to give them exposure, trying to expose them, to strenuous situations and see how they respond. And they're doing a good job responding to it. But it's gonna be a fire out there when you're the quarterback, right? Heinrich's used to the fire, and he's felt the fire, right? So can you handle the fire? And I don't mean to I don't mean to preach up here, but like that's the whole key to young people becoming men or women. It's like you got out in the real world, you start to go through fire, you start to go through adversity. So our ability to handle adversity and play that to me is the biggest thing right now. Knowing where to go with the ball, our guys are good with that. We're gonna make some mistakes, we'll play right through them, but it's just the other pieces.
Coach, how did the place kickers perform, and any update you can provide on Tristan's stats?
Yeah, Tristan's in the 120. He's kicking. Today for the kickers was, yesterday was a big special teams day along with today, but we still keep them on rotation. So one day it's, one guy. Today, those guys both got a couple kicks. Here's what I'll say: we're pretty consistent. I don't know how far out we can go and be consistent, but in my opinion, in college football, you want to be reliable inside the 30. With the ball inside the 30, and you want to be reasonable out to like the 35, 36, and it should be automatic from the 25. And so I feel like right now we're getting to be where we're pretty automatic from the 25, and then we're pretty, reliable inside the 30. So we're getting there. And I think, we have some guys who can really kick off and affect the game that way.
Anything jump out to you today about the running backs or so far in camp?
I like the whole group. I think Dante, maybe if Dante was lagging a little bit in the spring, I think he's starting to catch his wind, and, he's doing better now. I think it's great to have Ramir and Gabe out there. They're really, really, attacking. Emmett's having a really good camp. So, the big challenge for me, obviously when you play running back, we need guys who protect the football. We need guys who protect. You'd like them to be able to catch. And while you say it seems obvious they have to have rush skills, the difference between where we were early last year, between where we want to be this year, is that 4-yard run that maybe we make a nice cut and we get 8 on. We need to get 80. We need guys who can make somebody miss and have juice and are electric and take off. So that challenge versus, our defense, they're swarming, you're protecting the ball a lot, but also finding the guys who can make guys miss. And I see them all working at it. So I'd say that's a tight race, and it'll all play itself out.
How was that defense, Matt? I mean, there's a lot of expectations that you've seen sort of live up to what you'd expect.
Yeah, my expectations are just their approach day in and day out. I think for the most part, you see a lot of guys taking that approach. I thought last Wednesday was a real step for them. Like last Wednesday, they came out with unbelievable competitive nature. Today they did as well. But, you go back to last year, what are the things that bothered us, right? The things that bothered us on defense were double moves, trick plays, big plays, right? And, four-man rush getting the quarterback, which we're getting way better at, and taking the ball away, okay? So, we're pretty good on defense. We should have success in practice, you know what I mean? But can we do all those other things? Can we take the ball away? Can we not give up big plays? And so, I don't know the answer to that yet. Today there weren't a ton of big plays out there. We'll see how as we move forward if they can continue to improve that. And we're doing some different things defensively than we have done. So take advantage of our personnel. So there's some room for growth and room for learning there as well.
Looked yesterday like Blye Hill was getting closer, or he's on the 120s. Is that right?
Yeah, he's on the 120 now. Yeah.
And so where's he at as far as being able to go, and how do you feel about that position with possibly using Marquise Buford there if you need to, and the way Jeremiah Charles is coming along?
Yeah, Jeremiah got dinged a little bit today on the shoulder. Hopefully it's nothing major. It didn't I don't know what it was, but yeah, Blye's back. Blye can do individual and stuff like that. So he's still in the same timeline. I just felt like the best thing would do to get him in the meetings, to get him around, and so I think he's still sort of wait and see, not in terms of his ability, but just his health, when he's available. And trying to develop the other corners, between Sierra, between Jeremiah, between all those other guys, Marquise, want to get the best players on the field. So, yeah, I think there's some more depth than maybe is thought, but there's not a ton of experience, and that's a big difference.
Speaking of the defense, you had 5 linebackers last year. I'm talking middle linebackers that averaged between 25 and 35 snaps a game. They were able to keep a really good rotation. Do you feel like you can achieve that this year now that Dickinson is gone? And if so, who are those guys that are going to kind of move into that rotational role?
Yeah, I would just be happy if we had 3. I like rotating 3. If you have 4, great. I think the wild card last year was Mackay. Mackay would go in and play Jack some games. He could play Mike and Will. So, you look at it now between Mackay, Bullock, and Javen. We have 3 guys that we can put out there and play, and we know we can play. And then Steph Thompson's played in this defense a lot. Just him continuing to ascend in terms of his ruggedness. He's got a great feel for the game. And then you have the next group of guys. V9. He's a dynamic young player. All right, so he's a guy that I don't foresee much use for redshirting unless he needs to. Genatone, Gage Stenger's had a good camp. So Dylan Rogers, there's a lot of guys there. So, but if we have 3, I'll be happy, right? 3. If it goes to 4, so be it. And you have to remember a lot of things last year. We had Nick with the knee coming off the knee. So there was a lot more rotation because of things like that, right? There was weeks where his knee didn't feel great. You had Luke, who got sick in the middle of the year. Got an infection, was out. So typically, I'd be fine playing 2. I'd love to play 3, and if we have 4, then great. So I think we're trending towards at least 3, hopefully 4.
After there's some signs out there, close practice. Was it a little more shut down than usual today?
Yeah, I closed it completely. Yeah, because I thought because we love when parents come, we love when former players come, we want when high school coaches come. I wanted the players to have like this space of like no one's watching. Let me just go play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say what you want. Like when your mom, your dad, your sister, brother's there's an extra little something. And I've had a lot of guys mention that to me. Like, hey, sometimes it's hard for me when parents are watching or it's just watching. So I thought just the 2 scrimmages, we would shut it down. Coach Osborne came, and no one had the guts to tell him to leave. So, and I certainly didn't. But I thought it was I thought there are some things like where we are right now. And again, even the way I did this scrimmage, I did it very much like we did it in 2019 at Baylor, which I know doesn't mean much, but like you have a veteran group creating situations as opposed to, hey, who's going to win, right? Like, I think we're so competitive that I don't need that anymore. Now I need them to like win a play, and all of a sudden, hey, it's 4th and 3 at the 3. Can you snap into it? And so just, I wanted to create a lot of different situations, and I didn't want them to be focused on, hey, did we win this? Did we lose this? I want them just to play that rep and stay in the moment. And that's part of my process of us getting to be a team that doesn't, struggle down at the end of the game, that stays in the moment, was just trying to create that bubble today.
Did they respond the way you wanted to in that setting with closing everything down? Did it achieve what you wanted it to?
I don't know. It's something you do. You don't know if there's going to be a tangible, effect, but you're just like, hey, this just seems like a special day. It's like our first day. Let's go out there and do it. And I'd love to be in the stadium, but I thought it was important to be on grass, So we went out, we played on the grass today. So maybe it didn't have the same feel. We wear those Guardian caps now at practice, so it doesn't have the same sound as it used to have. So sometimes I have to go back and watch the tape just to say, hey, what does it look like? Because at the end of the day, you are what you put on tape, right? So looking at it as coaches, we are what we put on tape. The players are, so watch the tape. But I think the biggest thing I can say about our team right now is I can put the 3rd-team offense out there against the 1st-team defense, and it looks like football. And it didn't look that way last year. I can put the 3rd-team defense out against the 1st-team offense, and it looks like good football. So our depth is significantly improved from where we are. So I'll have to watch it, but I hope it did.
We haven't heard much from the players about being in the dorms and camp. Last year at this time, that was a lot of the talk about just the newness of that, what it was like, complaints or they liked it. What's it been like from your view this year? Is everything a lot more normal, just comfortable with what's going on?
Yeah, and we're moving out today, and I think it's kind of year 2, right? They kind of know this is what we do. This is what's expected. I don't. It's not not as big of a deal. Like Sad asked me. Marcus was like, hey, do you think I could stay in the dorms next week? Why am I driving 30 minutes, 25 minutes when I can just sleep in Selleck, air conditioning, walk over, go to work? So. But yeah, and again, I think that's a good thing, right? We're in Selleck not to have that be like a team thought process, a storyline, just to be around each other, right? So that's why we do it. I think we're getting to the point now where like the real stories on our team are like football. Like, hey, am I playing hard? Am I doing the right things? I'm not giving these long PowerPoints about how to behave and act and do the right thing. Like we're talking about, hey, 3rd down, 2-minute, situational football.
I want to ask about Princewill. He was in practice yesterday. He has a lot of talent. I mean, everybody can see that he has that ability. How do you feel like he's living into that now that he's back? And what's the next step for him to get where you want him to be as a pass rusher if this is a player?
Yeah, Princewill's career will be defined by his process, like his taking care of his body, his preparing, his work ethic in terms of how he practices and how hard he plays. The talent is everywhere, and he's a great, great, great young man. You know, loyal, family guy. It's just, you know, last year you're a freshman, you have some success, some streaky success, you get some awards. Your second year now you got to do it every day. Like, now you got to do every rep, right? And that's where guys make the jump. That's where you see guys like Jamari and them, like, they're consistent every day. It might not be perfect every day, but they're consistent. So I think it's just those things from Princewill. Him and MJ, and then, you know, Willis McGahee, Maverick Noonan, we have a really good jack room. Like, you know, those guys, you could play with multiple jacks. And they're all kind of figuring out who they are as pass rushers. Like, Princewill is a completely different pass rusher than MJ, and they're really bought into that. But, yeah, I think Princewill is one of those guys, when you look at the team, like, hey, to have a great year, a guy like him has to come on. A guy like him has to be like a difference maker for us. And for me, it all starts with just what his process is.
Hey, Coach, injury report, Jake Peter, is he out, and were there any other guys that stuff?
Yeah, Jake had a injury, had surgery, you know, lower extremity, probably be out for most of the year. You know, not an ACL or anything like that, just, you know, had a repair of his meniscus. So he'll you know, big guys, you try to take it easy. So hurt it early. Bryce Turner had broke a bone in his hand, so he'll be out for an extended amount of time as that heals. Those are really the two that come to mind.
Coach, do you know what you're doing about the single digits yet? That was a talk last August.
Yeah, we'll vote for them probably at some point next week. I think we probably have a lot of great candidates for it, and so we'll vote for them next week.
You keep your, if you had one last year, you can keep it.
If you've earned it, yeah, if you've earned it.
We got to talk to IGC for the first time in almost a year
Mhm.
yesterday. Just from your perspective, what has it been like watching him get back to playing after, you know, he had a long road to get back to even being on the field last year?
Yeah, I mean, I only see parts of it. You know, I mean, Drew Hamlin, Chris Peduzzi, Matt Hobbs, they see all of it, but that's just such a grind, such an emotional, mental grind to, you know, have an injury and know that you're out for a year, you know, and have to come back and fight back, and the whole time in your brain you're like, am I going to come back and still be the same guy, you know? So I think it's a lot of credit to, you know, who he is, who Elliott Brown is, who all those guys are, that they show up every day and they work and they have a positive attitude. I think the one unique thing is when you see guys that are out for a year, they usually form like really deep bonds with the other guys that are out at the same time, so you see friendships form. But you know, Isaiah's a guy that can make plays. He's physical, he's tough. We know that, so he'll be a valued part of the team. All right, thanks, guys.